Hey everybody, it's Moonhorse again. Coming in just before this video with a little bit of information. We're talking about the University of Utah healthcare program. A friend of mine is not doing well and needs you guys, if you can, to look into this program, donate if you can, help out if you can. They're looking for, donations, people who can do live kidney transplants, the whole thing. This is a very good cause, and it's very, very important. So if you guys have anything you can do to help, or any way that you can help at all, please do. It would mean a lot to me. It would mean a lot to everybody. It's not just me. It's about everybody. Everybody's in this together, so we should all put together to actually do something. Like, if you're interested, or you have any way that you can possibly get in touch with this, or if you're in the area and you can do something to help out, you can contact them at uofulivingdonor.org. Or you can contact them at the phone number 801-587-8816. If you're interested in helping my friend specifically, when you get through to somebody or you're talking to somebody, ask for Corinne C. Powell. That's who needs the help right now. It's this person who asked me to kind of help out, not just for her, but for everybody. So if you want to help out, you want to contribute to a good cause, you want to do something good, really help these people out. They could use it. Alright, so now on with the show. Listen here, you glorious people. I found something terrifying. We're gonna read it. It's bad. It is. How can I describe this? It is a story. It's a special kind of story, and if you're reading this, you already see the title. But this is The Donald Meets His Match. A horrifying look into Donald Trump fan fiction. You buckle the fuck up, 'cause shit's about to get real. The Donald stepped out of the doorway of his golden elevator to the corridor that led to his palatial penthouse apartment. At the door were 4 of his manservants. Lucky, he called them. They were called Lucky, he explained, because they were, quote, lucky to work for the most successful man in America. Which was a great honor for the Luckies, but also highly confusing, given that Donald called all 53 of his staff lucky and never bothered to differentiate between them, partly because he didn't have time, and partly because they were all Hispanic and he genuinely struggled to differentiate between them. Oh, God. The Donald walked past a large, solid gold statue of himself in a Buddha pose into the main lobby of Trump Sale? S-A-I-L-L-E. I don't know how that's pronounced. Who fucking cares? As he called his apartment. Trump Salah? Maybe? Anyway. Oh, Versailles. Trump Sally. Okay. Named after the French palace, the Versailles. Though way less gay, as he would tell guests. Several more Luckies approached, offering the Donald various beverages, but he ignored them. Or, in the case of one unfortunate Lucky who happened to present a goblet of pomegranate juice, the glass and the tray were slapped to the ground. You idiots! Trump yelled. I'm doing my best Donald Trump impression. Trump yelled, "Look what you did!" and kicked the Lucky as he bent down to retrieve the goblet. Where the fuck do I have to go to get some decent help? China? Do I have to go to China? Stalking through to his bedroom, the Donald walked into his bedroom. There was a large portrait of Donald on each wall. Above the bed, Donald as Alexander the Great. On the western wall, above a 10-meter by 10-meter television, was a portrait as Donald as all 4 of the heads of Mount Rushmore. Trump briefly glanced around, ensuring none of the Luckies were cleaning his bedroom as he approached a bust of himself as Roman Emperor Nero. Trump had chosen Emperor Nero because, quote, he got things done, and he liked classical music too. But now was no time for history lessons. He was about to leave for the Republican debate and needed some relief. There was now talk that the debate could dislodge. There was now talk at the debate could dislodge as the... He could be dislodged. Okay. There was now talk at the debate that... This is a hard sentence because it's very weirdly written. Also, I'm, a little bit drunk. There was now talk that the debate could dislodge as the Republican runner, the Donald, knew deep in his heart that no one could replace him. He was unique, original, the one and only Trump. Donald reached behind the bust and pushed a small button. Immediately, a panel behind the bust opened, and Donald stepped through it. He walked through a narrow corridor into his Trump relaxation room. The room was as large as most New York apartments. The room had padding on the ground and benches on the side, and there it was, standing in the center. The Donald stood still for a moment, admiring it. Ivana hated it, and in revenge for him having it created, she had pressured him to have what one newspaper headline described as very painful and ultimately unsuccessful scalp surgery when he began losing his hair. That's totally true. But Donald didn't regret a thing. Some men have blow-up dolls, but such a tacky, uncommon thing was never going to be enough for a man like the Donald. Before him stood a custom-made pleasure robot that he'd secretly constructed in Germany, and Donald Trump's robot was a perfect replica of Donald Trump. "You handsome bastard," said Trump as he approached the pleasure bot and kissed it roughly on the lips. The Trumpinator, as he called it, kissed him just as roughly back. "Yeah, you like it rough, don't you?" both the Trump and the Trumpinator said in perfect sync Trumpinator with one another. Their tongues locked and engaged in a titanic battle over the fallow ground of the two Trumps' lips. Ew. The Trumpinator's lips were primarily silicone, and after years of plastic surgery, the Donalds weren't that different either. Pulling away, the Donald said to the Trumpinator, "Initiate process 4. The supercomputer inside the Trumpinator whirred into action. While the Donald's personality had been imprinted onto the supercomputer that had been developed in Silicon Valley, when blended with the cyborg components of Pleasure Robot, it was surprisingly adaptable and had a number of unique features. It could, of course, give blowjobs. And given it was modeled on Donald Trump, it could blow harder than virtually anyone else. It also had a variety of other useful functions, such as a hairdryer, radio, bar fridge, and drink holder. It did not do anal, of course. The Donald would never inflict something that demeaning on the Trumpinator. But Process 4 was something special. It had taken the Germans months to program and build the feature in, but the Donald had been insistent. The Trumpinator bent its knees and bowed before the Donald. The Donald began undoing his fly. His pants fell around his knees, the full glory of Process 4. The beautiful, full hair on top of Trumpinator's began moving, shifting, rotating like the blade of a softened electronic razor. The Donald began thrusting hard into the massive, chemically softened follicle. He's fucking his hair. They had been carefully designed based on Donald's bouffant, as it had been in the 1970s. The hair wrapped itself around his hardened phallus. It was like an octopus consuming a shrimp. Donald came extremely quickly, as he almost always did. Ivana had once likened Donald's lovemaking to a Wall Street transaction. Virtually instantaneous. The Donald said, "Initiate cleaning and donation." And a small plastic jar emerged from the side of the Trumpinator's head, and his hair was drained directly into the jar. The sample would be sent directly to a sperm bank in India as a form of charitable donation. The Donald knew it was generous, but his accountant assured him that it was a great deductible. Trump zipped up his fly. "See you later, beautiful. I gotta run." "Wait one moment." The Donald looked as the Trumpinator strangely. It was the first time the Pleasure Bot had responded without being prompted. "Stop being weird, or I'll have you sent back to the lab. You know what those Germans are like," the Donald yelled. The Trumpinator stepped forward, opened his eyes wide, and said, "I love you." The Donald's face softened. "Get in line," and he laughed loudly. The Trumpinator stepped forward and punched Donald in the face hard. Donald flew back into the walls of the pleasure room and crumpled into a heap on the ground. Walking over to the prone Donald, the pleasure bot leaned down and said, "You're fired." As it walked from the room, the Trumpinator checked his hair in the mirror. Sure, someone had just ejaculated into it, but strangely it looked better than usual. As the Trumpinator sat in the helicopter on the way to the Republican debate, it looked over New York and muttered to itself, "Soon you will all be fired." Thank you, everybody, for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this thing. And, I also have a Patreon. You can give me $1 and I'll be your best friend. Okay. Bye-bye now. I can't find the button. Okay, there it is. Bye.